How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and we're going to be talking about Workhorse. I was actually really interested in Workhorse last year, did some plays, some swing trades, and so forth, but never really kept it long term. In regards, they had a big catalyst that was coming up, and unfortunately, things did not go the way they were supposed to go. So, what I'm going to be doing today, I'm going to be going through the technical analysis, and I'm also going to be going through the news in regards to what happened. I'll be talking to you guys afterwards. All right, so let's get into the technical analysis for Workhorse. So right now, the chart that I'm looking at right now is pretty much the 5-minute, and we're starting all the way back from February the 18th. As you can see right here, it literally stayed in this particular area of consolidation for a while. All the way over here, we see some consolidation at 31.45, right? And now let's go to the 19th. We see that it did a strong move upwards to 34.57, and then it literally consolidated straight all the way through to 32.98. Took a little bit of a gap down, but again, still holding that 30 range very well. And this is actually looking pretty decent, all things considered, in regards to how the market has been as of late as well. That's another thing we need to take into consideration. Because even, let's take a look at the 1 month very quickly. So looking at the 1 month chart, it ended up hitting a high of 42.96 on February the 4th, right? And even though it kind of came down, with the conditions going on in the market, it still looked like it was able to hold this $30 range very well, especially that high 30s. And then as you can see here, and as we look at what's been going on, like a lot of stocks ended up going down around this particular time, around February the 17th. So being in that 30 range, it's one of those areas where if you were invested, you're kind of expecting, okay, you know what? This is a safe range for Workhorse. It was at 42, and now it's in the 30s, right? So as we go forward, we're looking at the 23rd, right? As we can see here, let's go where we started off from pre-market. So as you can see, there's a gap down, right? Because, we had a huge sell-off, ended up hitting a low over here of $25. But hey, made a strong move up towards the upside. Ended up getting to a pre-market high, even of $30. And then right here at open, where Workhorse started, we can see it at $28.39. We have a sell-off here going down at the bottom. We end up, if you take a look at the RSI here, we're almost at 17. So this was an area where I know many people probably added, right? So, and also a lot of traders, anyone who's going to be in this thing short-term or doing any swing trades and so forth. So ended up recovering there, and then look at this. As the day goes on, yep, we have a little bit of an upward trend, but it did a great job consolidating in this area here. Look at this. Literally from $27 to $27 range, pretty much. So again, there was probably many people who were waiting on the news in regards to the USPS contract. And part of the reasons why it stayed very consistent. Yes, it came down from $42, but at the same time, we see Workhorse having a lot of upside, right? Let's be honest here. We see Workhorse having a lot of upside just for the fact that, hey, if they get this contract, then it would have been able to actually reach back into that $40 range because it was like a 10-year contract, right? And then, the bad news came. Right at 3 o'clock, there were numerous halts as well. So as you can see here, it went from $28 all the way down to $12.50. And I know many people, when this thing happens, like this is rough. Anyone who's currently invested in Workhorse and so forth like that, like you'll see like a lot on, whether it's a Webull comment section or it's on Stock Twits, a lot of people will laugh and call people bag holders and so forth. And at the end of the day, I feel bad because it's never good to lose money, and it's not funny if someone does lose money, right? So anyways, so we see $12.50 here. The only way to protect your gains in situations like these, and it's part of the reasons why I always emphasize this, having a stop loss or having a trailing stop. Like if you had a trailing stop here and you had it set to 5%, you wouldn't have had to go through going all the way down to $12.50. Let's be honest here. Because even if we look back on that 3-month chart, let's take a look at the 3-month 1-day chart. Spread it out. Take a look at this. So when I first heard about Workhorse, it was literally around this. It was literally in the summer, right? Now let's go and assume that, you know what, things started heating up. A lot of people started talking about it and so forth. So let's go over to the beginning of November. It was at $15.48. This was actually an area where I was considering actually buying Workhorse, right? Like I don't have any shares in Workhorse at all, but this was actually a pretty good area. Even over here at $29.81 at the time, because a lot of people were excited. This is on November the 25th, because they were saying, hey, you know what? Yes, Workhorse, there's a good chance they can get selected. You know, they're in the EV space and all that, blah, 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 right? And we see around, it's at 30, right? So that's when it started getting that momentum, and then it kind of gapped down a little bit, right? So as you can see right here at the end of December, we have a price of $20.13, right? And then we have this strong run up here where it hits $42.96, which we covered earlier. So literally, if it got down to this area, and let's say if you got in or you have an average cost that was around 15, 20, or even around 15 and 20, let's just say that. If you would have had from the 40 range, right, or even in the high 30s, if you would have put on like a stop loss, maybe around like 35, right, or even at $30, it all depends on what your average cost was to protect yourself and to minimize your risk, then this wouldn't have been a big concern to you, right? Anyone who's holding the bag right now, I would definitely, I know they say, you know what, it's a good idea to average down, but if you really believe in the company and you value the company, then that could be a good strategy. But I would wait and see what happens tomorrow. See if it ends up selling off even further. Because right now it's at 15. It hit a low of 12.50. There's a possibility where it could end up revisiting that 12.50 or even that $13 area. Definitely possible. As far as for a gap up, hey, that could happen, but the way how things are, the market is still kind of volatile the way how it is. I'm definitely seeing a gap down tomorrow. And if it does gap up tomorrow, it won't be by much because a lot of people are going to be selling, all right? So I just wanted to kind of go over that quickly with you guys. So we're now on Yahoo Finance, and we're going to be looking at the EV maker Workhorse plummets as Oshkosh wins the postal contract. So if you were wondering why Workhorse got dumped later on in the day, this is the reason why. There was a lot of hype around Workhorse getting this USPS contract, and it didn't happen. So let's read further into the article. Electric vehicle maker Workhorse Group plunged on Tuesday, triggering multiple trading halts after a key postal service contract that some had expected to win went to rival Oshkosh Corp instead. The missed opportunity came as a big blow for Workhorse investors, sending the shares 48% lower in New York, the steepest decline since October 2011. Workhorse didn't immediately reply to requests for comments. The USPS said that as part of the 10-year contract, Oshkosh Defense will manufacture postal delivery vehicles, which will drive the most dramatic modernization of the USPS fleet in 3 decades. Under the award's initial $482 million investment, Oshkosh will finalize the design of the vehicle for mail and package delivery and will assemble 50,000 to 165,000 of them over the contract period. The vehicles will be equipped with either fuel-efficient internal combustion engines or battery electric powertrains, USPS said in a statement. In October last year, short seller Fuzzy Panda Research, I like that name, had alleged that Workhorse destroyed its chances of landing the much-anticipated contract after its design and manufacturing led to numerous critical failures in the prototype USPS trucks. Workhorse had declined to comment on the report at the time. So my final thoughts on Workhorse, hey, I still believe they still have a future. It is not over. I know a lot of people have kind of overreacted on this, but again, a lot of people are actually betting on this contract also to go through. But at the same time, we got to look at going forward. Anyone who's probably holding shares right now, I'm going to tell you something. You do not lose money unless you sell. I'm going to repeat that again. You do not lose money unless you sell. If you believe in the company and you see that they have a future going forward, then again, you should be making the right decisions to help you actually flourish from that. And I also got to put in a disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor, and this isn't financial advice. So when you do invest, just know that you're doing it at your own risk. I know that the ARK Invest funds, they're actually pretty, yeah, they actually have some Workhorse shares. This is not the end, because usually when ARK picks up companies or they have them in their holdings, there's a future somewhere. So again, don't let this bother you. If you have faith in Workhorse, hey, you know what you need to do. I'll be talking to you guys soon. Peace.